moving right along, we are going to be working on the next steps of the Pareto web application. Before we jump into the product backlog here, let's quickly take a look through some of these console errors here. So let's start here. Each child in a list should have a unique key prop in div at content modal. So let's open up the content modal. Right. So it says that each child in a list should have a unique key prop. And the error really is coming from inside of the div. And so here we have a key inside of our anchor tag, our A tag. But let's go ahead and put that inside of the div itself. Okay. So that takes care of one of those. However, here, and we're coming back here, validate down nesting. Div cannot appear as a descendant of P in div created by sanity block content. Dashboard JS87. Let's go Command P, enter dashboard here. And let's take a look at line 87. Interesting. So essentially, a div cannot appear to be a descendant of P. So what I think is going on here is this list group item is essentially forcing this to happen. This header might be part of the issue though. So let's do this. So let's remove the header from here, and let's just go ahead and add it over here. Oh, there we go. Guess that fixed that. Okay, wow. So anyway, let's go ahead and comment out this coming soon tab because it's kind of annoying me a little bit, just sticking out there by itself. So technical training, finding work, training camp, and portfolio product. Okay. So let's take a look at our backlog here. And we created 2 new cards at the end last time here. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and integrate our experience system here? So right now our experience system does nothing but show us the name of each milestone. We need to show all the other information, such as the number of EXP tied to each of the milestones. Done. Description of the requirements. Done. We need to be able to mark them as completed and update each user's table to show that accordingly. Okay. So, what we want to do here is let's go ahead and come back here. So, inside of our training camp here, we want to be able to click on this button and mark as complete. However, I mean, it's pretty easy to just click that accidentally. So maybe we might want to have a modal pop up and ask us to confirm whether or not we've actually done this. Perhaps we want to have them send a link to a pull request that they submitted that shows the completed code. But I suppose for now, since we're focusing primarily on functionality, we'll just go ahead and treat it so that if this button is clicked, it will go ahead and it will mark this item as complete. Let's take a quick look here at our experience model here. And so as you can see, we have 0 through 15. We have them marked as a Boolean value, meaning that they can be labeled either true or false. And if we open up our props and we take a look at our training, we can see that 1 through 15 are false. So O1 approved, this is meant to kind of create some future functionality where the intention would be for the students to send in a pull request with the completed code, and once it had been approved by their mentor or whoever, then it would be marked as complete and the experience would be upgraded. But for now, we're going to focus on keeping the functionality minimal and functional. So we want to be able to click on that button and make this module complete. So let's look here in our training camp and let's look in here into render experience, right? So we're mapping over the array of objects known as topic. We're creating a header, and we have the block content being written out. Now that's a substantial amount of content. And we have a button. This says mark as complete. Now, what we can do is we can actually console log. We can actually go ahead and log the individual details of each topic. Let's go ahead and just log that index that's assigned to it generically. Let's make a log of all of the different topics. Right, individual topic. Let's take a look at individual topic 11, and it just by coincidence happens to be called 11. But if we look here, individual topic 12, it's actually a priority of _13. Right, so this is not quite what we want. That's also priority 13. That's priority. Why is that also priority 13? That's because it's rendering out the product and the training camp items. So what we actually want to do is we actually want to console log in the individual topic dot priority. Right. Topic dot priority. And log the entire topic object. So we kind of want to look through all that, right? Okay. So we currently have these kind of being ordered in a pretty random way. There's really nothing, they're kind of going 7, 13, 5, 1, 3. There's really no order here. So that's not ideal. Ideally, we want to order these things. So let's write a comment. We want to order the topics in the UI based on their priority. So that's one thing that we want to do. And what we want to have happen is when we click on this mark as complete button, we want to activate a function that is going to this dot mark complete. The top, we want to activate a function that's going to activate with this topic, this individual topic here as a parameter. So we can go ahead and we can create a function called async mark complete. We probably going to need to access this dot state at some point. So we'll make it an arrow function. And for now, we're just going to go ahead and console log the milestone. So let's see what this does for us. So let's go ahead over here. Let's go ahead and click mark as complete, right? And so that's giving us these unique individual items, right? So we click on that, and then we should have create AWS account and configure CLI. Okay, so we're passing this entire object as a parameter to mark complete. That's what we're doing right here. Now, what do we want to do here? Well, we want to take that milestone.priority and we want to make it so that that number milestone.priority is changed to true, right? So theoretically what that would look like is we're going to have constant updated experience module equals awaits API.put. We're using a put request here. And we're going to hit the route experience slash this dot props dot, well, hold on here. We want to update the ID of the experience. And so we have two different experience IDs to choose from. We have our portfolio product and we have our training camp, right? Product training camp. The question is, how are we going to have this mark complete function? How will this function know whether or not we are updating the product or training module? It's a great question. Computers aren't psychic. We kind of have to tell them what to think. So what we could do is we could inject the type of experience this is into this initial render function, right? So here we have topic.title, topic.amount. But you know what? It says underscore type equals product experience schema. Right. So we can go ahead and use this attribute to determine whether or not we use this dot props dot experience dot ID, or this dot props dot product dot ID. So to do that, what we first need to do is we need to have an empty mutable variable called exp type, experience type, right? Now, if milestone dot underscore type equals apprentice experience schema, then exp type equals this dot props dot training. I really got to change up this name here, dot ID. And now let's check to make sure that's in fact a valid thing. Training.id. Okay, there we go. Else exp type equals this dot props dot product dot ID. So if the milestone dot underscore type is equal to apprentice experience schema, that lets us know that we need to use the training camp ID when we're updating the experience. Otherwise, the type of the experience is going to be the product ID. And so here, all we have to do is put in the variable exp type. Well, and we also have to actually include a request body. So we're going to create an object called request body, and we're going to have it be called milestone dot underscore type is true. And the exp is now going to be the this dot props dot, oh, hold on here. Okay, well, I guess first off, let's start with that. So we'll worry about updating the total number of experience in a second. For now, so we have this body, right? And we can include that body here as an object. And afterwards, we'll go ahead and console log this new updated experience module. Okay. So let's run through the flow. So we're clicking on an object right here, right? We're clicking on this, and that's going to pass in a parameter. It's going to pass in this entire object that's being rendered as a parameter. We are determining the type of experience it is, whether it is the training camp or the product experience. We're creating a body object, which is saying that the milestone, actually we don't even want priority, we actually want priority, whereas the milestone underscore priority is being changed to true. Okay, and from there we are creating an updated experience module, and we are using a put request to update that particular experience module, and that updated experience module is actually being returned right here. So that is very important, because we're going to want to take that updated experience object, and we're going to want to actually refresh the state of our central data store with this updated experience module, so that if it trickles down here, we can create some logic to make this button disappear right after we actually mark it as complete. So essentially, the UI, unless we tell it that there was an update from the backend, it's not going to really know that. It's not going to magically refresh the data on the screen unless you tell it to. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a state refreshment function for refreshing the experience module in the central data store, and it will then trickle down here to the app itself. So I guess we'll probably just call it this .props .refresh experience, but we also need to figure out how we're going to specify whether or not we're refreshing the training or the product experience schema. So I guess we can go ahead and put a placeholder variable here called type. And, well, actually, I think we want to use exp type here, and then the updated, and we want to pass in the actual updated experience module here. So we have an exp type variable. Let's go ahead and also make an exp ID variable, because ultimately I think that this value is better suited to be called exp ID, because really it's the ID of the experience. It's not the actual experience type. But here we'll have exp type is equal to a string called training. And here we'll have the exp type equal to product. And so now this will actually mean something again. This will mean training or product. This .props.refresh experience. Okay. So what we're going to do is inside of our app.js file, we're going to create a function called refresh experience. It's going to take two parameters. It's going to take the type of experience, and it's going to take the updated object. So we'll go ahead and use another if-else statement here. So if type is equal to training, then we'll go ahead and do this set state of the training to be the updated object. But if not, if the type is not equal to training, we're going to run this set state for the product to be updated with the new object. And we can go ahead and pass this function down through child props. Okay. So here we're going to want to have a way of marking this, of having this button appear and display text as either mark as complete or have it be a disabled button that says experience already complete, right? Let's think about how we might want to actually do that. So right now we're rendering these topics. We're mapping through them. What we need to do is we need to find a way to link these blocks that are coming from the Sanity IO database. We need to link them to the data that we have in our backend API. So that is I guess we never imported API from AWS Amplify. Okay. So this seems like a good question to think about. So I'm going to think about this as well. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about how would we accomplish this? How would we tie together the underscore or the topic.priority? How would we link that to the in a UI sense? How would we link that to the results coming from our backend API? So essentially, we need to update this button to show up if the experience is listed as incomplete. If on the backend API we've written that the experience is marked as complete, this button either needs to disappear or it needs to be replaced, but it has to change. So what would we have to do to go ahead and do that? Take 5 to 10 minutes to think about it. I'm going to take 5-10 minutes and let's come back and we'll figure it out.